from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications, this is Nebraska Nightly.
Welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Tyler Moore.
And I'm Hayden Hudson. The ballot for the ASUN executive team has been made official.
Last night, the Daily Nebraskan held a debate where candidates got to share their plans for student government.
Topics ranged from fee allocations to DEI cuts, and audience members were able to ask their own questions to candidates. Nebraska Nightly's Josh Dozler is live in the studio to break down the ballot. Josh?
The ballot for the upcoming ASUN election has been confirmed, with 3 presidential candidates still in the race. The 3 candidates that will be on the ballot will come election day are Libby Wilkins from the Catalyst campaign, Luke McDermott from the Ascend campaign, and independent candidate Jack Burgess. Swarmina Cain, the presidential candidate from the Momentum campaign, did not gain enough signatures to secure her spot on the ballot, on the ticket, and participate in the debate. The external vice president for the Momentum campaign, Jade Romero, did gain enough signatures and was able to represent Momentum during last night's debate. The independent candidate running for external vice president, Verona Serbaugh, was informed yesterday that she is ineligible to continue to run due to not meeting the correct credit requirement for the position. Speaking of ballots, ASUN held their debate last night. Candidates had the opportunity to answer questions as well as ask questions to their counterparts. The debate started with each party laying out their overall goals if potentially elected. Catalyst candidate Libby Wilkins shared the party's plans if they were to win office.
Ultimately, we would expect to see higher retention in senators throughout ASUN, increased involvement from the student body through engaging with committees, standing committees that have been stagnant for some time, and increasing collaborative efforts in programming with university faculty and staff. That is what we desire for ASUN in the coming year, to rebuild our student government for the better and to give back to students in a meaningful and tangible way. Thank you.
This was followed by a response from independent Emma Lindsay on what expectations she has for her time in office.
While in office, our 3 main goals are to stop the climbing of student fees, to modernize the outdated alcohol policy, and to create support within ASUN for RSOs and Greek life. Each of these policies are grounded in the Husker experience. How we can make that experience safer, more transparent, and community-based. However, regardless of policy, our biggest goal is to make ASUN finally in touch with the student body.
Ascend candidate Luke McDermott talked about the group's 5 main goals, including giving student regents the right to vote, protecting DEI resources, introducing free and reduced Uber Safe programs, an increase to Grammarly premium expansions, and an ROS President's Roundtable. This was the final debate of this year's ASUN elections. If you want to learn more about each candidate's profile, visit the Daily Nebraskan. We'll have results on Nebraska Nightly as things become available. Back to the desks.
Elections for ASUN are April 1st through 2nd on MyRed.
Nebraska Nightly's Sophie Farrell is with ASUN presidential candidate Luke McDermott to learn more about their campaign. Sophie?
Thank you, guys. So, Luke, I first want to ask you, what do you think that you bring to the table when it comes to ASUN?
Yeah, first and foremost, the Ascend team I've been very proud of to be working with. It's one of the only practically full slates that we have running in the ASUN campaign, and I'm proud to say that they come from all different parts of campus, from the African People's Union to the Bathtub Dogs. We're representing over 80 different registered student organizations on campus. Specifically, what I think I'm bringing to the table is a wealth of experience. So I'm currently the external vice president for ASUN, and we've gone through a lot of different challenges this year, and I think that I've grown a lot from it, and I've become very experienced and well-versed in state politics, the Board of Regents, the things that are really important to making sure that the student's agenda gets furthered at Nebraska.
Awesome. So what is the reason that you decided to run as the presidential candidate?
Yeah, I think during this term I realized that there's a lot of things that ASUN can do that require long-term action, and our work wasn't completely done. So one of the big things that we're looking at right now, and one of the things that I'll actually be introducing legislation on tomorrow, is to ask the students whether they believe the student regent who sits on the board of regents should have a vote. So currently, since 1974, you've had a student regent representing you at the board of regents. They don't have a vote. We've been having conversations with regents, with lawmakers, and with university administration to change that, because we believe that students are the biggest stakeholder at the university.
That is awesome. So if you were elected as president, what is some actions that you would take?
Yeah, besides the Student Regent Initiative, two big things that we're looking at. First is our free and reduced Uber rideshare program. So we, in our current term, secured $100,000 from Husker Athletics to run a rideshare program. That'll allow students who are out late at night to get home safely. Also, if there's expensive airport rides, we know that that's been a problem for students, so we're looking at reducing the price of those Uber rides if they're early in the morning, late at night, anytime during the day. That's a program we've been looking at a lot because we know transportation is difficult for students, and also we want to make sure students who are out drinking get home safely.
That's awesome. So what is one thing that you want people to know about the Ascend campaign, and like something that might set you guys apart?
Yeah, I think absolutely far and away what you should know about us is that we have experience and we're committed to the student body. So I'm currently the external vice president. Our internal vice presidential candidate, Reem Ahmed, is the current chief of staff. Our other two candidates are senators, and one of them was the freshman campus leadership associate director. We also have many other people who've been in ASUN or not in ASUN, but the thing that sets all of them apart is they've all had substantive leadership on campus. We're calling it proven leadership. And I think that's really what sets us apart. I think there are other people on other campaigns that have been in ASUN. Many of them have either resigned, stopped serving the student body, or haven't done anything in their positions. And that's something we're going to be willing to defend at the debate.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.
Turning now to weather, it's been a pretty warm past couple of days, but there's rain in our future.
Nebraska meteorologist Dominic Ferrero has more of what to expect. Dominic?
Thank you. Wanted to take a quick look. Tomorrow, the university is hosting many future Huskers for the Admitted Students Day, and rain will play a factor later on. Let's take a look at that forecast. Starting out in the morning, we'll be into the lower 60s. We'll kind of have some light to moderate clouds throughout most of the day tomorrow, staying into the mid 60s as we continue near those afternoon and evening hours. So conditions should stay mostly clear for the university's sponsored events. However, as we work our way into the overnight hours, close to 6 p.m., we'll see that chance for thunderstorms coming up here. Winds expected to be high tomorrow, again out of the south between 15 and 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up for you, and the details on severe weather into the future coming up after the break.
Thanks, Dominic. The National Weather Service announced that they are suspending weather balloon releases in Omaha due to staffing issues. NWS offices launch the balloons 3 times a day during severe weather throughout the United States, the Caribbean, and the Pacific Basin. The balloons send back detailed pictures of the Earth's atmosphere. Officials say that offices will perform notable observations as needed. Representative Mike Flood says in a statement that staffing issues are impacting the ability to provide quality forecasts.
President Donald Trump signed a sweeping executive order on Tuesday that would examine and revise the administration of U.S. elections. The order aligns with the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act that would require proof of citizenship in federal elections. It also prohibits the counting of absentee or mail-in ballots received after Election Day. States will be able to verify any non-citizens on the state's list of voters by using state voter rolls and immigration databases. According to the order, states that do not comply will have federal funds revoked. Nebraska Secretary of State Bob Evnen welcomes the executive order, saying it represents new, hopeful beginnings for state and federal relations regarding elections.
Nebraskans lose $100 million in designated federal funding after Congress passed the Stop the Gap funding bill. The bill prevented a government shutdown earlier this month, but it didn't allow for new projects. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln's Innovation Campus, the Santee Sioux Nation Reservation for Water Infrastructure, and the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office are projects that have been impacted by this decision. Senator Deb Fisher said she is working to secure funding for projects within next year's budget, but does not guarantee that all of them will be funded.
Coming up next on Nebraska Nightly, an exclusive interview with CNN's Jeff Zeleny.
Along with coverage from lectures from Zeleny and Aaron Sanderford at the Nebraska Union.
Well, temperatures have recovered nicely after we came back from spring break. I still can't believe we were talking a blizzard last week. Currently right now in the capital city, 81 degrees for that temperature right now. Strong winds out of the south, 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusting up to 40. I think 42 is the highest we've seen at the airport today. Nowhere near the record high, though. That record high for today, 90 degrees. So thankfully we're not quite that warm, but still pretty mild for this time of year. Looking at our satellite right now, got some stronger cloud cover across the northern part of the country, and some cloud cover starting to bubble up, with especially out of those southern winds bring a lot of moisture up, really helping that cloud cover get going across the central part of the plains there. Seeing that just nice clear band here over the capital city, keeping us nice and warm throughout today. Some lighter cloud cover over to the central part of the state there, and starting to see a little more development closer to the Rocky Mountains. Radar showing that cloud cover going to keep us mostly clear going into the evening hours. Could see a stray thunderstorm or two pop up across central to eastern Nebraska throughout tonight, but those are not expected to be very long-lived. Statewide temperatures right now, seeing a lot of 80s on the map. 81 in Valentine, a little cooler out in Chadron, but still 79, 78 there. Scottsbluff as well. Ord and McCook fighting for those warmest temperatures right now. 87 degrees there for those temperatures going into the afternoon here. 86 for that temperature in Norfolk, 83 in Omaha, and again 81 here in the capital city. But forecast for tonight will be partly cloudy, dropping down into the lower 50s for that low temperature. That cloud cover is going to kind of help us retain that heat overnight. Still windy, south winds between 15 and 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 30 tonight. And then into tomorrow, the main thing we're going to be focusing on here, PM storms here, 70 degrees for that high temperature, and that'll come right as that cold front starts to pass by just about 6 o'clock there. East-southeast winds between 10 and 15 miles per hour, gusting to 20. So taking a look at that main severe weather threat, going to see that we're mainly looking at southeastern Kansas there for this severe weather threat, but taking a look at some model radar here, seeing that the storms kind of pop up later into the afternoon, but if those fire up earlier, we could see more of an increased risk for severe weather there. Quick note on severe weather here, difference between a watch and a warning. I like to think about this making a cake. A watch, we have the ingredients for severe weather in place. This is the time to make a plan. Now, if a warning is coming out, that means we have the cake here right now. So this is an immediate threat. Here's some parameters as to like how each of these the NWS warns both of these, but that means like active severe weather threat, seek shelter immediately. I want to take a quick look at the forecast here. Going to be mostly cloudy and storm chances, not severe though, as we work our way into the evening. Going to be warming up in Wednesday. Those rain chances continuing throughout the rest of the week into Thursday and Friday as well, dropping back down to the lower 60s. Breezy conditions continuing the rest of the way, but those rain chances going to be the main thing focusing on for the rest of the week.
CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny and Aaron Sanderford gave a free lecture yesterday on their experiences covering politics. The talk, titled A Memo from Washington, Why All Politics Are Local, was part of the College of Journalism and Mass Communications Saline Memorial Lecture Series. Zeleny led CNN's coverage of the 2024 election and covers the Trump administration and its effects nationwide. Sanderford reported for the Nebraska Examiner, Omaha World Herald, Lincoln Journal-Star, and KMTV.
After the lecture, Zeleny and Sanderford answered questions from the audience.
Nebraska Nightly's Dawson Iasillo sat down with Zeleny to talk about his career in journalism and how politics have affected the press.
So I first want to just talk a little bit about your time at UNL and at the Daily Nebraskan.
Look, I was at UNL during a time of a big sports heyday. I was here in the 90s, and Nebraska won 3 national football championships then. It's almost hard to think back to that type of program. I'm still a huge Husker fan, but when I was here, sports and football was the center of so much of what we did as news reporters. At the Daily Nebraskan, we spent so much time there reporting on the news, and a lot of players were had some trouble with the law and other things, but it was just really taught us how to be reporters like that.
So after your time at the Daily Nebraskan, can you tell me about how you worked your way up the ladder?
I had a lot of internships all through college. That was a big thing that was sort of pounded into us. But then fast forward, my first job out of college was the Des Moines Register, and it was just my first real exposure to real news and seeing professional reporters covering the presidential campaign that would come through Iowa for the Iowa caucuses. And that's when I really knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I wanted to reach Washington by the time I thought I was 30 or so. I got there a couple years earlier than that.
So with the climate with journalism now, can you talk about some of your challenges that you faced recently?
Yeah, there definitely is, I think, an erosion of faith and trust in a lot of institutions. That is something that skepticism has sort of always been there, but it's definitely changed. I think particularly in the era of Trump, of President Trump, even though he is obsessed with the media and is one of the biggest and wisest consumers of media, he watches TV constantly, he reads the newspapers, obviously he's very proficient on social media. He has one of his reasons for his popularity is really questioning or having people question institutions, from government to the fourth estate. So I think it's been challenging in some respects to ask our questions, to do our jobs without being perceived as being his enemy.
And lastly, if you could give one piece of advice to aspiring journalists in this political climate, what would it be?
I think it would be to remember who you are and keep that sort of metric of being fair, of being honest and humble. One thing I think about Nebraska students, it's we come with kind of or Nebraskans overall, just kind of a sense of humility and humbleness, hardworking, and I think that using all those attributes will certainly be helpful, but just not get sucked into the enemy versus resistance thing, and remembering who you're working for, and that's the audience. You're asking questions, telling stories on behalf of readers and viewers who can't do that. With respect, you can ask any question that you want, and it's just an awesome responsibility.
Well, thank you so much for your time and being able to come in here for today. I really appreciate that.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, a look at Husker football spring practice.
And Husker softball travels to the Crown Invitational.
Many of the brands you love don't love animals like you do. Look at the labels of products you use for a bunny logo signifying they don't lab test on animals. Check the label for those who aren't able. Start making the shift by visiting crueltyfreekitty.com today.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about...
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
It's like a car guy that loves cars. It's like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all those kind of cars.
That was Dylan Raiola yesterday when asked to describe his new wide receiver room. Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Trey Marler. The start of spring practice this week marks the beginning of year 3 for Matt Rule at Nebraska, and the expectations of growth are high and evident as spring practice kicks off this week. The addition of Dana Holgerson as the full-time offensive coordinator, 1 year under Dylan Raiola's belt, and multiple changes to the wide receiving core all bring a new set of importance to an already vital season for Nebraska on the gridiron.
I got to figure out what our team is, what our offense is, as far as what the direction it goes. You know, I can take the same offense that we had, but then tweak it based on what I see being good, seeing bad. You know, and that's what spring football is all about.
Who changed this? Who changed my stuff? To the hardwood, where Nebraska basketball is set to head west for the College Basketball Crown Tournament in Las Vegas. The team is set to leave Saturday afternoon and take on Arizona State on Monday night. The winner of the 16-team tournament wins $300,000 in NIL money. Nebraska softball is back at home this weekend as they will take on Purdue for a 3-game series. The Huskers looking to extend their 4-game win streak and remain undefeated at home. They play at 11 a.m. tomorrow. That game was moved up to the weather. 5 o'clock on Sunday night and 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon. On top of softball, Nebraska baseball is at home for a 3-game series with Oregon State. That game will be on Big Ten Network at 7 o'clock. Supposed to be in the 80s. Should be a fantastic weekend to get out to Alex Gordon Legacy Complex, watch a little softball, watch a little baseball. Could be a lot of fun now as spring sports start to ramp up, as it starts to finally feel like spring.
You know what? Nice weather, being back at Haymarket Park. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Trey. Coming up, we are excited to welcome 2 foreign exchange journalists to Nebraska Nightly.
We sit down with both of them live in studio next.
As soon as I kicked one of my buddies in the head, I was like, yeah, we gotta go after that.
I take back what I said.
Hey, you done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
You know, thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Social media is a daily part of many college students' lives, something we've become used to, but it can also be overwhelming and draining. Studies show that taking regular breaks from social media reduces stress and improves mental health. Too much screen time has been proven to increase anxiety, while stepping away helps you reconnect with the world around you. Take a break. Protect your mental health.
Welcome back. Recent state basketball tournaments have brought a great amount of business to Lincoln's Haymarket District in the downtown area.
Jackson Ingvostat takes a look at the local restaurants and shops that have benefited from the events.
During this time of year, there's a sense of stillness in the Haymarket. But not long ago, this place was popping, and it wasn't because of Husker sports. For a majority of March, Pinnacle Bank Arena hosted the NSAA Boys and Girls State Basketball Tournaments, and local businesses like Mellow Mushroom and El Potrero's Mexican restaurant flourished from it.
Well, when there are events going on at Pinnacle Bank over here or anything like that, it's crazy down here. It waits about an hour long every time. It's completely packed in here, so it's crazy.
Crowd sizes for any of the given high school basketball games weren't that of a regular Husker home game, but since games were going dusk till dawn for weeks, it made business boom.
It was all day long, so it's very nice. It's a good 2 weeks it is, that's for sure. It really makes up for the time when it's slower in here, like if there's not events going on. So
usually in the mornings from like 11 to 1:30 we're our busiest, and then we had the whole restaurant fill up, and then we'd fill up again in the afternoon, so it was pretty busy, yeah.
And even though the days were long and the workflow was heavy, local businesses embraced it.
When it first started, it was like just trying to get everyone in order and in check, but once we got a good rhythm to it, it was fine. It was kind of a nice high.
Plus we're right across the street from Pinnacle Bank, so it doesn't hurt that. We got the best pizza in town, that's all I can say.
Jackson Ingolstad, Nebraska Nightly.
This week was a special one as the College of Journalism and Mass Communications hosted 2 foreign exchange journalism students from Germany.
We are so excited for them to be joining us now live in studio alongside Nebraska Nightly's Evan Donlinger as they discuss their visit to Nebraska. Evan?
Thanks, guys. Well, hello and willkommen to our 2 students here. I'm sitting here with Jetta Minks, a student at the University of Applied Sciences in Magdeburg, and Clara Dunkler, a master's student at the University of Leipzig. How are you guys doing?
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right. First up, how are you guys involved as student journalists back home?
So I'm doing my master's degree, so I'm focusing on data journalism, and I'm about to finish my degree, so I'm only having my thesis left, and yeah, that's how I'm involved.
Very cool.
I'm currently doing my undergrad in Germany in journalism with a focus on politics, and I will also finish this summer.
Very cool. And how did you guys find yourselves in Lincoln, Nebraska? I'm sure that's a little jarring for you.
We're doing an exchange program. It's called RIAS, and it's going in both ways. So you can apply either being an American journalism student or a German one. So as we're the Germans, we're going here to the US, and first week we spent in DC, and the 2 other weeks we have left we are spending here in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Very cool. How was DC?
DC was super exciting. We've never been to the US before, so it's our first time here. It was a huge city. We talked to so many journalists from different programs, CNN, NPR, so it was really interesting, and lots of difference to like cities in the EU or Germany. So.
Awesome. And what do you 2 hope to take from your time here in Lincoln?
I think it's super interesting to meet other journalism students, so it's nice to get an insight of how you guys do it over here. So that is something that we hope to like bring back home.
Mm-hmm.
It's also super interesting because right now your political landscape is just so different than it has been, and to just exchange with you and young people here is so exciting and interesting.
Yeah, and you have a where is it? It's a emphasis in transatlantic relations, correct?
Exactly.
And is that what you're here for?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I actually focused on like relationship between the EU and China, but I think the US is also super interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting is a good word for it. All right. Well, danke schön for sitting with me today, and have a great rest of your time in Lincoln. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Evan. Have you ever wanted to meet a miniature version of yourself?
The University Program Council held its first Mini-Me Lego event where students could come in and create mini Lego versions of themselves. The turnout for this event was massive, with lines going out of the building for both of Wednesday's sessions. The event was free to all students with the use of an event pass.
Students could come in and browse all types of heads, bodies, legs, and accessories to personalize their mini Lego figures. Many students said they went to the event in between classes to wind down and de-stress.
For updates on future UPC events, you can follow their Instagram, Facebook, and X at UPC Nebraska.
The last few days in Lincoln have been much warmer.
Meteorologist Dominic Ferraro has more on if that will continue. Dominic?
Well, Tyler, that'll continue for the next couple days, and by the end of tomorrow, we start cooling off. Cold fronts coming through, and with that, we could see the chance of severe weather on Saturday night. Cooler on Sunday, chances of rain continuing Sunday into Monday. Cooler temperatures there into the mid 40s and high 50s. So we're looking kind of at, that severe weather threat initially tomorrow. Could maybe see a stray hailstone or two. Then after that, finally just focusing on good precipitation. We need the rain. We've been in the drought for a while. So that's looking good going into next week.
I love a little bit of rain. I don't know about you guys.
Baseball game on Sunday, softball too. There's hopefully the rain stays away, but if not, we'll understand.
Thank you for tuning in to Nebraska Nightly.
We'll be back Monday with our new update shows and live again on Tuesday at 4:45.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.